Well, welcome everyone to San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show, our very, very first show where we're going live, and we thank you very much for joining us. We've had a good run over the last 3 or so months taping shows, and now as we get a little bit closer to the playoffs, wanted to get a little postseason flavor, get it rolling with live shows, and just kind of give you our schedule for this week. We'll be live today. We're going to be live on Wednesday night, immediately following Game 2 of the Padres-Dodgers series at Dodger Stadium. We'll have a show on Friday morning, and then we will have a live show next Sunday night. Next Sunday night at 8 o'clock, we will have a live show getting ready for the postseason. So that's going to be our schedule. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank everyone for all the great support. After I left my last radio gig on December 21st. Wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, but you fans out there reached out and kept writing me notes saying, Coach, you got to start a podcast. You got to start a podcast. And with a couple of great gentlemen, we've been able to get this thing rolling, and it's gone extremely well. And we're going to get to questions today. So if you have questions, you can put them in the little chat box. We'll get to those towards the end of the program. But just a couple of things. If this is the first time you're tuning in, we would certainly appreciate if you would subscribe. Again, San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show on YouTube. Please subscribe. I asked you last week, we were at about 1.9. We needed 2,000 subscribers, and we went flying by that. So I thank you very much for that. And we're going to keep this thing rolling. Very excited about being able to have interaction. That's what I was all about on the radio all the years. I always looked at my listening audience as an extension of the Kentera family. And I really care what you folks have to say. More than anything else, I really care what you have to say, because you know what? We all have life lessons. And I've been very blessed in my life to have been a college athlete, been a coach at different levels, working with athletes. But everybody comes from a different background. Everybody's had different experiences. And that's why I've always felt it was very, very important for me to listen to what my listening audience and people that have been so loyal to me for over 30 plus years. And we're going to get to a lot of the questions today, and very excited about being back on live to where I can interact. Couple of things, aside from subscribing to the YouTube channel, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera, and you can follow me on X at Coach Kentera 44. So drop your questions in. We're going to get to as many as we possibly can. And if we can't answer them on the air, I'll certainly try to get back to you. And again, we will have another live show on Wednesday night, immediately following Game 2, the middle game of that Padres-Dodgers series. Well, the Padres open up an off day on Monday, sitting at 3 games back. I mean, can you believe the Dodgers? Dodgers were trailing in that ball game on Sunday, 5-4. Padres had already taken down the White Sox, and Mr. Ohtani comes up in the bottom of the 9th inning, leadoff home run. Then Mookie Betts hits a home run to walk off the Colorado Rockies. If the Rockies could have got 3 outs, Padres would have been 2 games back going into Dodger Stadium. Now they're 3 games back. But you know what? Padres have been great against the Dodgers this year. They've been absolutely fantastic. They're 7-3. They've already won the season series. If it comes down to a tiebreaker, the Padres would get the tiebreaker. And we're going to get you to the pitching matchups. I got to tell you, the pitching matchups in 2 of the 3 games, at least starting pitching matchups, I think do favor the Padres. We're going to get to that. I want to recap the weekend. On Sunday, Padres able to come out with a 4-2 victory. And really, it came down to Luis Suarez coming off the bench, an RBI double that drove in Tyler Wade, and then Profar had a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 8th, and then Fernando launched one for his 20th homer of the year. It was a tight ball game. I mean, the White Sox, they got out to a 1-0 lead. Profar hit his 24th home run of the year to tie it. And then Miguel Vargas, the former Dodger, hit a home run to make it 2-1. And then the Padres came back with those 3 runs in the 8th inning. Yu Darvish, another great outing. 6 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts, gave up 2 home runs, but didn't walk anybody. And the bullpen looking pretty good. Morejon, 2/3 of an inning, a hit, 2 strikeouts. Jeremiah Estrada, an inning, 2 strikeouts. Robert Suarez, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Padre bullpen on the day, 2 2/3, 2 hits and 6 strikeouts. Suarez picks up his 34th save of the year. And we're going to talk more about Robert here in a few minutes. But, you look at Profar, who's really been kind of up and down the last 6 weeks or so. Had a really nice day. In that leadoff spot on Sunday, Jurickson, 2 for 3, a sac fly, 24th homer, hitting .285. And I know at some point in time, you folks that are, especially now that we're live, people are going to start asking about Jurickson Profar, about Luis Arraez. So what's the update on Ha-Seong Kim? And I will tell you this on Ha-Seong Kim. I don't think he's close. Padres actually activated Nick Ahmed on Sunday. Now, he's not eligible for the postseason roster because he came to the organization too late. So unless there was something strange, Nick Ahmed would not be on the postseason roster. Right now, he's not eligible. I don't think he can get eligible in any way, shape, or form. But Ha-Seong Kim threw a couple days in a row where he's throwing from 75 feet, but he's taking batting practice with a shoulder harness and without a shoulder harness, taking ground balls, doing his running, but the throwing's been very slow. And I don't know if he's coming back. I really don't know if he's coming back this year, and we know his contract status. They got to work out some type of deal next year for him if he's going to come back to San Diego. But really offensively, it was a very slow game. Padres had 5 hits. White Sox had 5 hits. And the one thing I got to mention, 80 games. Remember they played the one game in Korea? So, and that was considered a home game. But in 80 home games, the Padres set a new franchise career record. Now, a lot of that had to do with Gallagher Square. They remodeled it, put a lot of money into $20 million into Gallagher Square, and they're able to, shoehorn people in there. But they set a new franchise record, 3,314,593 at Petco Park this year. So Sunday, the Padres win 4-2, and a great effort by Yu Darvish. Saturday, Padres win 6-2, and they out-hit the White Sox in that ball game 11-4. Fernando, 2 for 5, a couple of doubles. Profar, 1 for 3, his 28th double in that ball game. Jackson Merrill, 2 for 3, a walk, his 89th RBI of the year. Xander Bogaerts took one over the boards, a 2-run homer, his 11th. And the Padres, even though they were only 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position, they walked away with a 6-2 victory. And once again, Martin Perez. Think about where the Padres would be without Martin Perez. This guy has come in, and I didn't know what to expect. I mean, his ERA was just, over 5 when he got here from the Pittsburgh Pirates. But, hey, at the end of the day, he's now 5-5 on the year. He's 3-0 in a Padre uniform. And he's made, 9 starts, and the Padres are 8-1. In his 9 starts right now. He's been absolutely fantastic. Bullpen was pretty solid. Jason Adam had a little bit of a problem, but Tanner Scott bailed him out an inning and 2/3 for Scott, 1 hit, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Jeremiah Estrada came in behind Brian Hoeing, who had relieved Martin Perez, and Estrada 1 inning, a couple of punch-outs. Padre bullpen is really, really good, and it's going to really shorten games in the postseason, I do believe. Now, Friday night, just another great effort by Joe Musgrove. And, I've said this before, and I'll stay with it. And especially the way things are lined up the final week of the season. For me, I would start Michael King in game 1 of the playoffs. And I would go with Dylan Cease game 2, and I'd go with Joe Musgrove game 3. Now, would they use 4 starters in the playoffs, or would they just go with 3? And hopefully, you win the first 2, and, Musgrove could start the second playoff series. But I would go with King, Cease, and Musgrove right now. But I got to tell you, Darvish is really pushing hard. But he could also be your long guy. If you needed a guy, one of the guys, got a lot of pitches, you got to take him out after the 4th. Maybe you throw a Darvish in for the 5th and 6th inning, and then you go to the bullpen. We'll have to wait and see. But going to Friday night, well, this is a game we're going to talk about a little bit. Padres ended up winning 3-2 in 10 innings. Padres have been outstanding this year in extra inning play. Musgrove, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 9 strikeouts. They went to Jason Adam for an inning, a strikeout. Tanner Scott, an inning, a hit, a strikeout. Robert Suarez got the first 2 batters out in the top of the 9th. And then a runner got on, and he served up the home run and tied the ball game, his 6th blown save of the year. And that's what everybody's concerned about. And it was good to see him come back on Sunday and close it out for his 34th save. And I'm going to get to Robert in a minute. But, really in that game, Padres had 10 hits. But aside from Fernando hitting the game-winning double in the bottom of the 9th or bottom of the 10th, not a lot of offense that night. Bogarts had a couple of hits. Cronenworth had 3 hits. Cronenworth hitting down in that 8th spot, by the way, on Friday night, and then he hit in the 3rd spot on Sunday. He'd been all over, but Jake trying to find his stroke. But Friday night he had a good ball game, 3 for 3 and a walk. But we're going to talk a little bit about Robert Suarez here in a minute. But I want to tell you about our sponsors. And I'm starting to get people calling me and asking about sponsoring the program. And our 2 sponsors that we have right now, they jumped in right from the get-go. And Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply, they got 3 great locations in North San Diego County. They got Escondido, they've got Fallbrook, and they've got Encinitas. All 3 are beautiful stores, absolutely beautiful stores. And what I would ask you as we pan their website here, I would ask you to go to their website, sign up for their bi-monthly newsletter. I got mine last week, and I was talking about everything you need to know about having citrus trees. And, if you got bugs and how to get rid of the bugs and how to, flourish if you have citrus trees. And I would encourage that. The other thing that's great about Grangetto's, and I think all of you know, I'm a big community guy. I go out, I speak at a lot of different functions. I go to a lot of community functions to support charities. And that's the same thing with Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply. They're really, really active in the San Diego community. They're really involved with Future Farmers of America, FFA. I would ask you to go to their website, grangettos.com, sign up for their newsletter, and you'll get it dropped in your email twice a month. And again, they're fantastic. If you're having problems with your lawn, you got some brown spots, go in there. They'll give you some good advice. Maybe your sprinkling system is not working properly. Maybe it's not getting water to where it needs to get water. So check them out, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply, and make sure when you go in, tell them Coach John Kentera sent you. And again, we're going to get to a lot of questions here before too long, but I want to get through a little bit of my information on our San Diego Padres. Okay, Robert Suarez. I'm a big fan of this guy. I remember that. Remember going back to his rookie year. Now, remember, he's 33 years of age. He had never pitched in organized professional baseball in the United States. He pitched in Mexico. He pitched in Japan, and A.J. Preller signed him out of Japan. And when he was 31 years old, he came in. He gave up that big home run, his first major league debut on opening night over there against the Diamondbacks back in the 2022 season. And then last year, he had a really good rookie year in 2022. Last year, his numbers weren't bad, but he was never really completely healthy. And this year he got off to a great start. I mean, he's got 34 saves. He's got 6 blown saves now, but his numbers are fantastic. 63 games, 9-3 record, 2.71, the 34 saves and 40 opportunities. Numbers, 63 innings, 49 hits, 20 runs, 19 earned runs, got 16 total walks, 15 walks, 1 intentional walk, 58 strikeouts, 7 home runs, and a whip of 1.02. And, he's doing everything you want. The problem is, and I've gone back and looked at his numbers, and the numbers I'm looking at are how many four-seam fastballs he's throwing, how many sinkers he's throwing. And I'll give you an example. And we're going to go to Friday night. When he's going against Lenwin Sosa, the Chicago White Sox, it was 9 pitches to Sosa. He threw 6 four-seam fastballs, the first pitch, the third pitch, the fourth pitch, the 6th pitch, the 8th pitch, and the 9th pitch that he hit out. They were four-seam fastballs. He threw 3 sinkers, the 2nd, 5th, and 7th pitch. The problem here, now here's the problem. It's not the pitches he's throwing. It's a combination of two things. All 9 of those pitches, whether they were four-seam fastballs or they were sinkers, they were 99 to 101. He had one pitch 101 miles an hour, but the others were 99 or 100. Everything's the same. Now, four-seam fastball, you're going to have a tendency to throw it up in the zone. A sinker, obviously, you want to throw it down around the knees. But when you're throwing the sinker that hard, and he doesn't have a turbo sinker, he's got a good sinker. You got to take a little bit off. Throw it at 96 or 97. Get a little sink. Okay, the four-seam fastball I don't have a problem with as long as you're locating it. But his location has not been good, and the differential from his four-seam fastball and his sinker are just not there. And every once in a while, and we saw it on Sunday, he did throw a changeup on Sunday. He threw, I think, a couple of changeups on Sunday. But at the end of the day, he's got to have a little bit differential on his four-seam fastball that you want to throw up in the zone with a little juice on it. So I know it's an optical illusion, but it looks like it's rising. But as far as the sinker, you take a little bit off and give that ball an opportunity to dip for you. And those are things they're probably working on, but you get caught up in a game with the enthusiastic, the adrenaline and the crowd's going crazy. Crowd, again, just you folks out there that come to the Padre games are just unbelievable. You guys have been an incredible. They always talk about the 12th man down at Texas A&M at football games. Well, let me tell you, you've been more than the 12th man all year long at Petco Park. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And really, there's talk about, do they take him out of the closer role? No, I don't think you take him out of the closer role, but I will tell you this, in the playoffs, I think Mike Shilt's pretty good about playing matchups. And I realize, you got to face 3 batters, but there may be a time when Tanner Scott comes in and ends up, being that guy in the 9th inning against certain teams. I mean, if you had 2 or 3 left-hand hitters, 1, 2, 3 coming up in the 9th inning, then you may go to Tanner Scott. But Robert Suarez, I think, is your closer right now. And I got confidence he can get the job done. I was looking at Tanner Scott's numbers, 70 games, 9-5 with a 1.54 ERA, 22 saves, 24 opportunities. His numbers are just off the chart. 70 and a third innings, 41 hits, giving up 12 earned runs on the year, 83 punch-outs, giving up only 3 home runs. Hasn't given up the gopher ball. Hitters are batting 169 and a whip of 1.08. It just adds to the depth of the Padre bullpen. It's that simple. So it'll be interesting to see how Mike Shildt handles it. It'll be also interesting to see how Robert Suarez and Tanner Scott finish out the final 6 games. Again, starting Tuesday night, 7:10, Padres, Dodgers. Padres go in there and sweep them. Padres are 7-3 again this year against the Dodgers. Go up there, man, sweep them. And then it comes down to who wins the most 3 games over the weekend. Padres will be in Arizona Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Dodgers will be at Coors Field Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Rockies. Padres got to go in there and they got to sweep. They go in there and sweep. It's going to be real fun next weekend, I can tell you that. Okay, I want to take a look at the series coming up because this is going to be intense baseball. And you look at the Dodgers and how they pulled that game off on Sunday. I don't know. I mean, they got those 3 MVPs, leading off, hitting second and hitting third. Freddie Freeman didn't even get an opportunity on Sunday to come up and try to do some damage because Ohtani and Betts took care of business. Dodgers won 6-5. They took 2 out of 3 from Colorado. Ohtani just red hot. You can't pitch to this guy now. You can't pitch. He had 4 more hits on Sunday. I mean, his numbers now, he's hitting over 300. He's hitting 301. He was 4 for 5. He's got 53 dingers, 123 RBIs, let alone the 50-plus stolen bases. I mean, Dodgers are humming. They're playing very good baseball. The problem with the Dodgers, they have no pitching. Now, they've got guys that can pitch, but, I mean, as far as depth, they don't have it. Yamamoto started on Sunday. He wasn't very good. Walker Buehler's not been very good. They got all kinds of problems. Bobby Miller got sent to the minor leagues. Gavin Stone probably not going to pitch the rest of the year. Tyler Glass not going to not pitch the rest of the year. Who knows about Kershaw? They're trying to get him back. He threw like an 83-pitch bullpen last week. Dodgers got all kinds of pitching problems. I know none of us feel all that sorry for him. But the pitching matchups for the series, starting Tuesday night, Padres going with right-hander Michael King, 12-9 and a 3.04 ERA. Dodgers going with young right-hander Landon Knack, who's pitched very well. He's 3-4 with a 3.39. But that favors the Padres. Michael King's had a hell of a year. Wednesday night, Dodger Stadium at 7:10. Padres going with right-hander Dylan Cease, 14-11 and a 3.42 ERA. And Dylan Cease has 220 strikeouts on the year. In fact, going back to Tuesday night, Michael King is going to try to get to the 200 mark. He's got 196 strikeouts on the year. And the Dodgers on Wednesday night counter with right-hander Jack Flaherty. Flaherty 13-7 and a 3.10 ERA. And then the final game of that series will be Thursday night at 7:10. Right-hander Joe Musgrove, 6-5 and a 3.95, going against the struggling right-hander Walker Buehler, 1-6 and a 5.63 ERA. Walker Buehler going to be a free agent at the end of the year, coming back from his second Tommy John surgery. Not good on that one. His command has been not good. We're going to be getting to your questions here very, very shortly, but I want to tell you about our other sponsor, YourReliableHomeBuyers.com. If you're looking to buy a home, maybe be a first-time buyer, or you've bought in the past and you're looking to turn things around very, very quickly, you go to YourReliableHomeBuyers.com. Comprehensive real estate services, the buying, selling, finance, and even purchasing old houses. And they'll give you cash. They will give you cash. Give them a call today at 858-422-4116, 858-422-4116, or you can visit them at YourReliableHomeBuyers.com. Again, they've been in business over 23 years, great experience in the real estate market, and again, cash offers for old houses. YourReliableHomeBuyers.com. Josh Messiah and his entire crew doing an outstanding job. I actually used to work with Josh in the radio business. I guess he was the smart one. He went into real estate. So check him out, YourReliableHomeBuyers.com. And when you give him a call, make sure to tell him Coach John Kentera sent you. All right, we're going to take a look at the standings. Then we're going to get out to your questions here, and we'll get those up and rolling. Again, you can put them in our chat box, and we're very excited about having interaction with our great listening audience in San Diego, Southern California, and all over the country. Maybe Joe in New Jersey will get a hold of me, or maybe George in New York. But let's take a look at the standings right now as we sit here on a Monday morning. Dodgers sitting at 30 games over 500 at 93-63. They've been really good at home at 50-28. They've won 6 of their last 10. And look at that run differential, a plus 133 on the year. Padres sitting at 90-66. Now think about this. This is the 5th time in Padre history that they have won 90 or more ball games. First time they've won 90 plus. And hopefully there are going to be some pluses this week. But first time they've won 90 games since the 2010 season under skipper Buddy Black. Arizona kind of struggling a little bit right now. Really flattened out. They're 5-5 in their last 10. But Arizona sitting right now at 87-69, 6 games back. And then, of course, the Giants and Colorado. The only thing the Giants are playing for right now is to try to finish above 500. They're 77-79 in Colorado at 60-96. The NL Wildcard, and we'll take a good hard look at the Wildcard here. Right now with the Padres, a 3-game lead. Their magic numbers 1. They're sitting in great shape right now. The Mets, big win at home on Sunday night against the Philadelphia Phillies. They're 87-69. They hold a tiebreaker over the Diamondbacks that are 87-69. And Atlanta's sitting at 85-71. And the Mets going to be taking on Atlanta the next series. So that'll be a 3-game series between the Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Padres sitting in great shape. If we were playing the wild card game this afternoon, it would be at Petco Park, and the Padres would go against the New York Mets. So there you have it. So, okay, let's get out to some questions. I want to hear what you fans have to say. Again, we're going to have another live show on Wednesday night immediately following Game 2, the middle game of the Padre-Dodger series. And we'll get those questions up. Hey, Coach, are you surprised the season they've had? Yeah, I am, because the Padres have been absolutely incredible the second half of the year. Remember, at one point in time, the Padres were sitting at 51-50, and they've just gone on an absolute roll. In fact, since the All-Star break, the Padres have the best record in baseball. We know that since the All-Star break, but they're 40-17. 40-17. Diamondbacks have the second best record, and the Dodgers have the third best record. So all three teams have had just incredible second halves. And boy, you think about this: Padres, there were 3 games under 500 against the Rockies. Boy, if they could have had a winning record against the Rockies with what they've done against the Dodgers, Padres, they could be tied for first as we sit here on a Monday morning. Okay, we'll keep rolling. Again, you can keep those questions coming in. WK, Coach, what do you think the Padres should do with a closer role? Do you think they should move Suarez? No, I think you got to play this out. And like I said a few minutes ago, WK, I think you've got to play it from the standpoint. You got to keep running Suarez out there and see how he goes this week. And this is something that Mike Schill, you got to handle this with kick gloves. You got to keep this guy. Not only is he okay physically, that's a good thing, but mentally, closers, they can be very fragile. And I don't think Suarez is a fragile guy. I think he's a good guy, good teammate. And I think, he knows that he's had some tough hiccups lately. But I thought he threw the ball pretty well. I thought he threw the ball well on Friday night. He got the first 2 guys out without a problem, and then, ran into trouble. Got a guy on, and then boom, the home run. Tied the ball game. Luckily, the Padres were able to win that on Fernando's double in the bottom of the 10th inning. But I think you got to stay with Suarez. But again, in certain situations, depending on who's coming up in the 9th inning for your opponent in the playoffs, I think you may see Tanner Scott. I don't know what Mike Schultz thinking, but you got to always be evaluating that situation. You got to go with the hot hand. So, WK, thank you very much for that question. I certainly appreciate that. Sam Sanford, Coach, would you rather see the Padres go for the division or get their ducks in a row and coast to the wild card? That's a really good one. That's a really good. I think ego. I want to win a division title. I'd like to win a division title because at the end of the day, whether you get in as a division winner or a wild card, you got to beat somebody good. It's like in football. People, well, I don't want to, I'd rather play this team or that team. Hey, to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to play somebody good. I want you to be a contender, not a pretender. So I'd like to win the division. I don't want to play for second place. I mean, the Padres have to go in there on Tuesday night with the mindset that they're going to win game 1. You can't sweep the series unless you win game 1. Take it one game at a time. Michael King on the hill. Love the way he's throwing. Going against Landon Knack, who's pitched very well. It may come down to, both guys going 5 or 6 innings and then going to the bullpen. The bullpen may decide it. I really think the Padres in 2 of the 3 matchups against the Dodgers have the advantage. I think the game on Wednesday night, Cease and Flaherty, that's probably a push, especially with the Dodgers being at home for that game and Flaherty on the mound. Flaherty, pretty good pitcher. But he has a tendency to give up the long ball. But I like the pitching matchups for the Padres. And the Padres have matched up well against the Dodgers all year long. So, Sam Sanford, thank you very much. Let's keep it rolling. Again, we'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. Rocket Dog, man, I love Rocket Dog. Rocket Dog's always on the YouTube website. Rocket Dog, I love you. Checking in from Lake Elsinore, and congratulations to the Storm. I know they didn't win the California League title, but they were so close. So thank you very much. Jay McGee, Cronenworth's struggles at the plate are concerning. You know what? And I agree. And that's why I didn't make a big deal when he went from 5th in the order down to 7th. And, I mentioned the other night he hit 8th, and yesterday with a rise out of lineup, they moved him up to 3rd. His balance at the plate, it looks like his bat's dragging. I don't know if he's tired or he's trying to do too much, but his balance at the plate, he has no rhythm at the plate right now. And they are, I think, some big concerns. The hitting coach, Victor Rodriguez, has got to really go to work on Cronenworth because fundamentally he does not look great at the plate right now. I mean, really off balance. Watch when he falls off a pitch. He's really off balance. So, Jay, I totally 100% agree with you on that. Okay, let's keep rolling here. We got a lot of people wanting to comment. If Jason Wynn, if Kim comes back, should we put him back in the lineup, Coach? If he's 100% healthy. I like the way these guys are playing right now. And I think Donovan Solano, if you have him at first base and Arraez as a designated hitter, you got a better offensive lineup. Now, I know Bogaerts has had a couple of rough plays recently. But, at the end of the day, I'm leaving Bogaerts there. I think Bogaerts is going to get better the more he plays there. Remember, he showed up in spring training. They moved him to second base. Really wasn't working out a whole lot at shortstop. If anything, he's kind of bailed the Padres out because he said, hey, I'll go back to shortstop. I mean, the footwork at shortstop is so different. And your arm angle, throwing from shortstop is so different than from second base. So, I think unless Hassan is really ready to roll and 100%, and I don't know if that shoulder is going to be 100%. I think he just doesn't have the strength in it right now. And if he's only throwing from 75 feet, you can't throw from the hole and get any mustard on it to first base. I don't think he's coming back. I really don't think he's going to come back unless all of a sudden in the next week, something drastically changes. But Solano's had a heck of a year. Solano's really bailed this team out in a lot of ways. And Peralta, I mean, the bench has been, really, really good this year. Been really excited. So we'll have to wait and see. But Hassan is back swinging the bat, as I mentioned. He's swinging the bat with a shoulder brace and without it, just little maybe preventative maintenance on that. He's running, taking ground balls and throwing, but not throwing with any real intensity, I don't think, right now. Again, you can keep those questions coming. Jeff from SoCal, nice to see Suarez in the game yesterday with a wicked changeup. I would totally concur. The Padres have been so good all year with their bullpen, Jeff. The last thing you want the final week of the season is have a bullpen controversy. But I also think, it depends on who you're going against. And you got Tanner Scott for a reason. He's done a great job. No question about it. The thing I like about Tanner Scott, he's only given up 3 home runs all year. And that's what you want to make sure. You got a guy late in the ball game, 8th and 9th inning guy that isn't going to give up that long ball. Suarez, on the other hand, has given up 7 long balls. In fact, went back last night and I was looking up Robert's numbers. His first 2 years in the big leagues, he gave up a total of 8 home runs, 4 each a year. And this year he's given up 7. But, he's pitched a lot this year. And, when you got a lead, if you got, a 3-run lead and you're coming in to close it out, man, you want to challenge people. You don't want to walk people. You want to challenge people. So every once in a while he's given up a home run. I would grant he's given up a couple of really critical home runs. But overall, his numbers are still great. They're still great. So, Jeff, thank you very much. Okay, Buddy, Padres need Donovan Solano back in the lineup. He started the rally with a double. Padres record since Ha-Seong Kim injured shoulder. Right now, they're better without Ha-Seong Kim, like we were just talking. Solano's added a lot. Ha-Seong Kim's a great defender. You don't want a gold glove. And I know he won it a year ago at second base. You don't win it for just showing up and taking 100 ground balls a day. Ha-Seong Kim's a really good player. And you know what? It's too bad because he was starting to swing the bat even with a little more power before he got hurt. But I think I just don't see him back. I really don't. But, Buddy, thank you very much. Let's keep it rolling here. A lot of people wanting to get in. Let's avoid Shohei at any cost. Laugh out loud, dude. Is on another planet. He is. The guy is a superhero, a comic book character. He's been incredible. And you don't think the Dodgers, and I know he's only taken $2 million this year, but seriously, they signed this guy for $700 million. And everybody going, oh my God, $700 million. Do you imagine the amount of money he's bringing into the Dodgers right now? I mean, just this year. He got 9 more years to go. I don't know what he's going to be like when he's 42 years old, kind of like with Manny or Bogaerts. What are we going to get? I don't know. But I can tell you this, Ohtani, he's reality TV. You can't miss an at bat. I don't care what you're doing. You got to watch this guy hit. I mean, I was fortunate enough last week. Padres weren't playing that day. And I watched the Dodger game. I took a nap. I got up early that morning, and I took a nap, and I got up. But I saw his 3 home runs. He went 6 for 6. He had 10 RBIs. He had 17 total bases in the ball game. I never seen that in my entire life. Guy's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I'd much rather pitch to Mookie Betts than I would Shohei Ohtani right now. The last thing I want to do, though, is put Ohtani on because he's still stealing bases. If I was Dave Roberts, I would say, hey, let's take it easy. Unless it can help me win a ball game. If I'm the Dodgers, do you really want Ohtani running a lot the last week of the regular season? I mean, he could hurt an ankle, a knee, break a finger, slide, and you never know. But if they're going to keep doing that and he wants to try to get to 60 stolen bases, not going to get to 60 home runs, well, I wouldn't rule those out. That guy's crazy. And they also play at Coors Field their final 3 games of the year. Jonathan Downey, Coach, great to hear you live. Love what you're doing with the podcast. Question for you, is this the best Padres team you've seen? No, it's not the best Padre team. I will tell you this is a very entertaining Padre team. The 98 team was the best team. They had really good balance. They had a really good balance. Not that this team doesn't have great balance, but really I think there was a lot of star power on that team with Tony and Caminetti and Finley, Wally Joyner. You added to it. You brought in Jim Leyritz to go along with what you already had. Greg Vaughn had the 50 home run year. And their starting pitching was good. Their bullpen was good. They won 98 games. So, the way I look at it, whoever wins the most games is probably the best team in franchise history, and they won 98. This team, they get hot. Who knows? Maybe they can win 96. But I will tell you, this has been a really fun team to watch. You know why? And really, I think it was a little bit different back in 98, but with social media not having come into existence. But I think we have an opportunity now. The players have an opportunity to express themselves a little bit more now and connect with the fans. And, back, a number of years ago. But that 98 team connected with the fans pretty well. I mean, guys like Finley and Caminetti, people love those guys. They absolutely love those guys. But this is a really good team. And I think this team's pretty well balanced as well. But I think that 98 team, they had a lot of veterans. They had very few young guys on that team. In fact, I can't even think of a young guy really. And the other thing I think about the Padres this year, Jackson Merrill, he's got to be the rookie of the year. Got to be the rookie of the year. Okay, Friar Greasy, that 98 Yankees team just happened to be the best team in baseball history. Friar Greasy, I'm not going to argue with you. That team is as good as any team that I've ever seen, I would think. I can't argue with that. I mean, they just mowed through people. Joe Torre, I mean, had a ball club that just destroyed people. So I'm not going to argue with you on that. Okay, I want to remind everyone, and we're going to continue to take some more questions. Reminder, Wednesday night, following the Dodger-Padre game, the middle game of the series, we're going to be on immediately following the final out. We'll be on between 10 and 15 minutes after the final out on Wednesday night. Abraham Ochoa, at Coach, would this be your official page now? And what is your schedule like when it comes going live? We're going to be live on Wednesday night. We're going to more than likely be on Friday morning tape for that. And then next Sunday night at 8 o'clock, mark it down, next Sunday night, 8 o'clock, we're going to go through all the playoffs, American League, National League, the matchups, how the Padres finished up the final week of the season. So next Sunday night will be a live show at 8 o'clock. But we will have a show on Wednesday night following the middle game of the Dodgers series between 10 and 15 minutes after the final out from Chavez Ravine. But no, this is my official page. Omar Vega, let's go, Coach. Amazing podcast. Well, thank you very much, Omar. And I can't begin to tell you the interaction that I have had with my listening audience. I've missed that. That's about the only thing I've missed. I don't miss working for people that don't appreciate what you do. I'm having a great time working with a couple of gentlemen to put this podcast on. We've got sponsors. I never even envisioned sponsors. Now we have people calling us to want to sponsor the program. And a lot of people have asked me, what are you going to do after Padres season? Well, isn't there an off season where the Padres have to figure out what they're going to do, signing people? We got Aztec football. They'll be on the road this week at Central Michigan. We got Aztec basketball. We got a lot of exciting things coming down the pike after baseball season's over, and hopefully we get to the World Series and win it. And we got that parade going down Harbor Drive. Rest in peace, Peter Seidler. And it's hard not to think about Peter. I got to be, he was a good man and always treated me with so much respect. And we spent a lot of time texting back and forth. He was famous. I would text him, and maybe around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He'd text me back at 2:30 in the morning. He was always out and about. I mean, he always stayed up so late. I don't know when the guy slept, but just an incredible man. And I'm so happy for this ball club and the organization, how things have gone this year since his passing. And hopefully they can win it. We can have that parade that he always talked about down Harbor Boulevard. But as far as this podcast, we're going to keep it rolling. And like I said, I never envisioned getting sponsored. In fact, I'll be honest, I didn't even expect to get a podcast going. But you fans and some people said, Coach, you got to do it. And, the only thing that I'm sad about not being on the radio is I think when I got let go, the station let down you listeners because people wanted to hear what I had to say, and they look forward to me being on every day at 10 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to be fine, folks. I'm more than fine. I've got 6 grandchildren. I love going out and watching all their games. I watched a bunch of games this weekend. I'm going to be fine, but I thought they did a disservice to you folks because they took me off the air. There was no reason to take me off the air. I had the highest ratings in the history of midday sports talk radio in San Diego dating back to 1990. I was number 1, number 2 in my time slot. When I got let go, I was number 1. And even when I was off in December, I was had a historical rating. But hey, that's the way it goes. Onward and upward. I'm very happy with my life, and I'm very happy to do this podcast and chat with all you fans. And you know what? We don't have to worry about commercial breaks. Again, please subscribe, and thanks for listening. Let's try to duck in a couple of more, and then we'll get out of here, and we'll get ready for that Dodger series on Tuesday night. Abraham Ochoa, David Dillamuth. The Padres have come into the series with a winning mindset, full pedal to the metal, and not slowing down is what it takes in the playoffs. No question about it. The other thing I think it takes in the playoffs, and things that Mike Schultz have done throughout the course of the year. So I know a lot of teams this time of year, they go back to the fundamentals, working on bunting, getting secondary leads. That's something Mike Schultz done all year long. So guys in his order aren't going to have a panic attack when they're given the bunt sign in a critical situation in the late innings to lay down a bunt. Padres have been much better this year, dropping the ball down. Not only that, the Padres, as far as bunt base hits this year, they've got, I believe, 22 bunt base hits. That's great, man. Bring those corner guys in. Give your hitters a better opportunity to drive the ball by them. Take away their defensive angles. Got to play cat and mouse with that first baseman and third baseman. Let's duck in a couple of more, and then we'll let you get going on your Monday. Which series do you see us performing better in, Dodgers or Diamondbacks? Well, Mike, be honest with you. Let's worry about Tuesday night at 7:10. Padres have played the Dodgers tough. They played them very tough. I hate Chase Field. Chase Field is really difficult. And hopefully the Padres can take care of business at Dodger Stadium. I mean, I'd love for them to sweep, but at least get 2 out of 3 and keep it alive for the weekend. But, I mean, the magic number is 1. Just get in the playoffs. Be the number 1 seed. You're hosting the series starting on next Tuesday at Petco Park. So let's take it one game at a time. But Padres match up very well with the Dodgers, and they match up well with the Diamondbacks. It just Coors Field, or I should say Chase Field, it plays like Coors Field. Okay, let's get to 3,000 subscribers. What do you say, guys? Let's try to do that. Let's duck in 2 more questions, and then we'll get out of here, and we'll get looking forward to Wednesday night. And this first live talk show has gone very well. Jonathan Downey, how about the AL wild card? Getting close? Who do you see making it? I haven't really looked all that much at the AL wild card. I know Minnesota's trying to hang on. I'll be honest with you. Detroit is – I'm kind of looking at Detroit. I mean, Baltimore is going to get in, and we'll take a look at the standings here right now. Baltimore, number 1. Kansas City at number 2. Detroit right there. How about them? They're tied right now with the Kansas City Royals. the Twins, the Mariners. I'd like to see the Royals definitely get in. Once upon a time, way back when, back in the middle 80s, I worked for one of the great scouts in the history of baseball, Al Kupski. I worked for Al, and I scouted ball players for him in the Kansas City Royals. But I kind of like it. The Twins are going the wrong direction. I think the three that are there right now, Baltimore, Kansas City, Detroit, I think I'm going to stick with them. Yeah, let's get one more question in. And again, we really appreciate everyone sending in questions, and we'll do this again after the ball game on Wednesday night. Again, ask you very much to subscribe and appreciate that, and certainly appreciate all the great feedback we're getting. Hey, Coach, please keep being honest about things. Now that you're no longer with the radio station, I hope this gives you more freedom to be real about the team's struggles. I'll be honest with you, Abraham. I always felt comfortable. Nobody ever said to me, you can't say this or you can't say that. And I'm going to tell you, well, there's a couple of reasons why for that. Not that they wouldn't tell me what to say. I guess maybe some guys get told what to say. But I think I got good credibility among the organization. And I know when Kevin Towers and AJ Preller, none of those guys have ever said, hey, you're being a little bit hard on us, this and that. But they also know I know baseball, and I've been around baseball at a very, very high level and been around some of the best in the game for a long period of time. I think the biggest thing, and I said this when I first got into sports talk radio back in 1990, when I got my very first opportunity to be on the radio. I'm not going to try to fool my listening audience because I didn't try to fool my players. I never was a guy that played favorites. I'm always going to be completely honest. Not only that, I was very fortunate in my athletic career to play for some incredible people that have been around the game for a long period of time that taught me the game. And I would never, ever discredit them by, saying something that I didn't believe about the game of baseball. So, no, nobody's ever told me, maybe they didn't like what I had to say, but nobody ever called me in and said, hey, you can't say this or you got to say that. Now, I would say this, there are other talk show hosts that probably kiss butt on the Padres or on their favorite player, but I'm not one of those guys. I call them as I see them, and I always will. Okay, so Abraham, thank you very much. Again, we're San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show on YouTube. Please subscribe. We got to 2,000. We're going to work our way towards 3,000. I want to thank our sponsors, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply. I want to thank YourReliableHomeBuyers.com for making this show very, very possible. And again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera and on X at Coach Kentera 44. Let's hope the Padres can get it rolling Tuesday night. I'll rejoin you live immediately following the ball game on Wednesday night from Dodger Stadium. Have a great couple of days, folks. Talk to you Wednesday night. Thanks again for tuning in to San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show on YouTube. Bye-bye.